Good evening and welcome. I'm Bob Pace. I'm your host, and here we are to fight CPS and stop taking our children. Yeah, you heard me right. That is a government agency that we have to deal with. I'm having trouble here still with my computer. Oh, well, I think I'm on. I hope you all can hear me. It's a warm welcome because I know all of you are coming here for one reason, to learn how to fight CPS and get back your children. Unfortunately, you're like the many 900 plus people I've talked to in the last 16 months. There's an organization called the CPS. I defined it as the Child Protection Systems. They're in every county, in every state, in every country. They may have different names, but they all boil down to one thing they're supposed to do. Congress mandated in the United States that social services would set aside social workers to protect our children from neglect and abuse. So they set up a CPS system. Apparently, every county likes to call it different names. Maybe it's for confusion. I don't know. I don't understand why it can't be a standard name. Some of them are more child-orientated, some are more family-orientated. But, you know, when you hear the word CPS, it means all the systems in the United States that's supposed to protect our children from neglect or abuse. That was mandated by Congress. Too many children were being abused and neglected. So they're supposed to protect their children. But so far, a lot of rogue CPS agencies have gone bad. Not only are they not protecting our children, they're making false accusations and imprisoning our kids into foster care, trafficking our kids into foster care, alienating parents from their kids. It's sad the amount of parents that go through the pain or what's causing that. But I'm back again. And hello, Betty. I'm so glad you're here. Betty is from Montana. Today she drove to Nebraska. She called me on the show this morning, and she was on her way to meet with the people that are going to release her niece, her brother's child, to her custody so she can get guardianship. Now, Betty is also a foster parent, very good foster parent. And let's see what she has to say. I'm back in Montana with my family. Oh, great, you are. Okay, we have someone calling in, which is good. Good evening. Who do I have the pleasure of talking to?
This is Betty Jo, Bob.
Oh, hi, Betty. How you doing? I'm glad that you called in.
I'm tired.
Yeah, I'm glad you did. Did you have a nice trip back?
I did. I got a one-way or round trip, but it was really fast and in and out.
Okay. I want to say hello to KK Richardson from Brooklyn, New York. Hello there, Akima. Glad to have you in the room. For all your listeners out there, I got a repeat guest. It's Betty, who's been on my show many times. She's one of the families here, and so is KK Richardson. Akima, she has a show, and I think her show is on Wednesday night. She has a podcast show, and she has a case in Brooklyn, New York. And let's see what else she had. Let me see here. Okay, I'm trying to see what Akima is saying right now. She got the baby, guys. How great is that? Is the niece actually in Montana?
Yes, she is.
How did you do that? That is a miracle.
Well, it's a long story. I've been fighting, and finally I got her.
Well, how did you? I mean, I know you said you're talking to the judge. I thought you were just meet with him. I had no idea that you're taking your child. You said yesterday that your brother, who's this child there, had lost his rights, and now you're going to get full guardianship of your child, correct? Of your niece.
Correct.
Okay. So, wow, how was she on the ride back? Did she talk to you?
Well, she's 2, so she didn't talk much. I mean, she's just 2, and she kind of scared a little bit because of the airplane and stuff.
Right. Is that her first airplane ride?
Yes, it is.
Wow. Okay.
I got pictures of her and stuff, and before we took off, we took some pictures with the foster mom and the social worker and the judge.
Wow, the judge even took pictures? Wow. I mean, was that in court?
Yes, because I adopted her. She's my child now. She's totally mine.
Oh, the adoption's gone through then?
Yes, everything went through this afternoon.
Wow, that is you're a miracle, woman. I am so happy for you.
I was waiting in the lobby, and I called KK, and I was like, hey, guess what? I'm going to get my niece. And she was like, yay.
That is so great. A podcast, but every time I touch my computer, it is doing.
Near your computer. If that's the case, then I would move your phone away from the computer.
Well, I need it with the speakerphone. I need to try with the speakerphone. That's why I have it close to the computer so everybody can hear you. I have the phone on my shoulder, so that should be fine. Okay, Akima is saying something about her show. She says, I also have a new show streaming on Mondays from 5 to 6 p.m. Pacific time, 8 to p.m. Let's see, 8 p.m. I guess Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay, that's great. We'll talk about everybody about your show, Akima. I'm so glad that you joined me tonight along with Betty here. And Betty has called in. And so, Betty, can I ask, I mean, at one time, almost a month ago, you're saying that you were worried because the social worker said that your ICPC, the Interstate Compact for Placement for Children, was expiring. And the social worker didn't want it to go, even though it was current. How did you get the social worker to change your mind?
Well, the judge is the one that made that decision. He's like, no, her stuff has not expired, and if you're going to continue to say that it's expired, she's going to be going with her aunt anyway. So she kept on saying that it was expired, and I finally had enough of it, and I looked at my brother's attorney, and I was like, you need to do something because this is not right. It's not true. And he's like, well, do you have documentation? And I showed her documentation and presented it to court. The judge looked at me. He goes, where's the child right now? I said, I don't know. So he asked the caseworker, where's the child right now? Oh, she's in daycare. Well, you go get her out of daycare. She's going with her aunt right now. She's getting guardianship. She's going to adopt her right now.
Wow.
So
well,
he didn't put up with no bullshit.
Yeah. Now, Betty, did you give the window seat to niece so she can look out the window? Akeem is asking that.
She sat on my lap. So yes, we had a window seat.
Okay. And how old is she again?
2.
2 years old. Wow. What adjustment she has to make now. Brand new place, and get to see you every day. What about her father? Has her father seen her yet?
He's not allowed to see her.
Really?
I have full custody over her, and I choose not to allow my brother to see his daughter because.
Does he want to see her? Does he want to see her?
He wants to see her. He wants to see her, but he's not stable. He's using drugs again, and I'm like, no, I can't have this around.
No, you're right. You're right. You have to be a good guardian, and a good guardian is certainly there. It's sad. What it was is that her brother had a girlfriend. They had a baby. They moved from Montana to Nebraska, but they weren't living very healthy. They weren't living their life very healthy. And the family was broken up by CPS. And then the mother wanted nothing to do with the child. I don't think the mother would ever recover. The father came home to Montana, got a short-time job, but then he lost that job. He lives out of his car, and now he's doing drugs again?
Yep.
Wow.
After he had signed off his rights to me, as of today, he started using drugs. I think it was last Friday. Yeah, last Friday.
Well,
he signed his rights over to me, and from there, I was like, okay, if you're going to sign your rights over to me, then we need to take this to court, and I can get it from there.
Right. Well, it is. Go ahead.
That's just my oldest daughter.
Well,
my youngest daughter.
Okay.
Asking me questions.
All right. Well, has your niece met the little boy you're taking care of, the little 4-year-old?
No, because he's going with his aunt.
Well, I didn't know that was finalized yet. You said he was living with her until he was adopted. Is he? Is he adopted now?
He is. Yes, he's finally adopted.
Wow. I bet is he okay? Do you know? I mean, he's good hands.
I do. He calls me every morning and every night. Good night, Ma. I love you.
Oh.
And he calls me every morning. Says, Mama, good morning. I'm going to school now. So.
Yeah, he's good great. Hands. Great.
His aunt and I, we talk a lot. I mean, she really hasn't raised a bunch of kids, so she's in her 50s, so she's like a brand new mom, being an older mom, but still, she's at that age. All her kids have grown, and now she's trying to raise this 4-year-old.
Yeah. Yep. Now,
and I just kind of give her a point. When she gets upset, she calls me, or if he's having a rough day at school and comes home all upset, she'll have him call me, and we'll talk, and I'll say, what's wrong? What happened? What's going on today? You want to talk about it? No, I don't want to talk about it right now. I'm going to my room. Okay, well, if you feel like you want to talk, you know my number. Auntie has my number. You have Auntie call me. And he's called me a couple times, about 10:30 my time. His time is like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, hey, what are you doing up? And he's like, well, I had a bad dream. And I'm like, oh, you want to talk about it? Yes, Mommy. So I let him talk to me about his dreams.
Good.
Because he feels comfortable with me.
Good.
He wanted to be staying with me, and with a family member stepping up, wanting to adopt him, I can't do nothing about that. I can't say.
No, I know that. I know that.
That's my job.
Yeah. I want to say hello to Cruel, who just came in. She's from Ventura, California. She says hi. Akima says, hey, Betty, as being a mom is like riding a bike. You never forget, I guess, to ride a bike. That's good. Now, yeah, Cruel, whose real name is Felicia, says, really quick, because I got back to my home group, any meeting. She has a question. I got on a website on my appeal sent to my email today. Okay. So you got an update on your appeal sent to your email. Okay. And it says it's what Cruel is saying, Felicia. It says it reads argument did waived because submitted. Okay. Can you kind of elaborate on that, Cruel? I don't know what you mean by that. And Akima says, Cruel, it works if you work it, keep coming, is what Akima was saying. Cruel had appeal going, and I guess she says something that it's she'll tell me more. I hope she does. Akima says basically the argument wasn't strong enough to order to throw cause.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm still here. Do you still hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You still hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. I was reading what Akima was saying about Cruel. Order to show cause was omitted as well. Okay, all right. And then we have a new person, Royal Money. Now I need to put up one of my messages about how to do texting messages on here. It's important. You got the name. That is good. You got the name. But Royal Money, welcome again to the room. You may have been in before. I need help. My termination of parental rights hearing in Las Vegas, and I don't have any representation, and I don't know what else I'm supposed to do anymore. I can't lose my daughter. They took her under 8 hours with no evidence. Okay. You are you represented by an attorney, a court-appointed attorney? You got to have some representation. You need an attorney, but you don't want to lose your termination of your parental rights. If they take them from you, you can appeal it, but you got to appeal it right away. Again, it's going to take an attorney. Now, Betty, whoops. Oh boy. I lost Betty.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up.
Okay, Betty was on the phone. She may have lost power or something there, but it was great news she was sharing with us. I'm going back to Cruel, who has appeal. Also, Betty sent me a cute picture of the little boy that she was taking care of. Or it could be her niece. I don't know. Okay, we'll help you here, Royal. I guess you're in Nevada, Las Vegas, Nevada. So at least got your location. So you're in Las Vegas, Nevada. You have a TPR, which is a termination of parental rights, and you don't have any representation. Well, you should have a court-appointed attorney. They need to provide you that. If you go to the court, ask the judge for a court-appointed attorney and a continuance of your case. Now, Cruel says, my court-appointed appellate attorney waived my rights to an oral argument without consulting me about it. He felt there probably wasn't enough. Again, he is a court-appointed attorney. That's the mistake everybody's using. Court-appointed attorneys are bad news. They're great news for CPS, but bad news for parents. Now, Akima says, sorry, this is for Felicia, order to show cause was entered as one of the suggestions of argument. Royal Money from Las Vegas says, and she's been with my mom for the last 2 years. I have no idea what you're talking about, Royal. Let me see, Royal, you said they took her with no evidence, okay? And she's been with your mom for for the last 2 years. I jumped through hoops to work my case plan and nothing is helping. Well, I don't know if you had an attorney during all those times. And she's with your mom, so do you and your mom have a good relationship? Royal says, CE, and she's been with my mom for, okay, evidence, that's right. Then Akima says, Royal Money, you need a lawyer immediately. I agree with KK, Akima Richardson. Royal Money, I was, but she dropped me. Well, you need to get another one. You got to have an attorney. The best attorney they get is my rule number 1, which is a attorney trained in juvenile law, family law, dependency law that's fought CPS and gotten children back. That's the kind of attorney you need. Court-appointed attorneys won't have that background. They're criminal attorneys. They're hired by CPS. They work for CPS. They're overburdened with 30 or more clients. They won't have time for your case. They won't fight for your case. But if you can't afford a real attorney, you need to have your court-appointed attorney. You need to set fire under them and tell them they need to work. If they don't work, you'll report them to the state bar and you will sue them for negligence. Okay, your TPR is in 13 days. You can get an attorney. Now, if you can get a real attorney, that'd be the best thing you can do. All you have to do is find 3 attorneys, and one of them we're going to give you right now that is already know the background, so you only have to call 2 more, is that you're going to construct your search for these attorneys in a certain fashion. My rule number 4 talks about doing the internet, spending 60 hours researching CPS. In order to do it correctly, you have to have the word format right. You start off with the city, state, and the letters CPR. Then a bunch of stuff will pop up. You want to refine your search and put down a attorney in juvenile law, family law, and dependency law. And so those attorneys will pop up. Pick your 2 top ones, then you're going to call them. Now, the third one is Vincent Davis. He's my attorney. He already is experienced in fighting CPS and got back thousands of kids. And there's ways you can talk to my attorney for free. You can be a guest on my podcast, and you can get a 15-minute private consultation on Zoom with my attorney. Or you can call into the show and talk on the show, and you'll get a free 15-minute consultation with my attorney. They're private. If you want more times, you can go to the website that is scrolling across the bottom of my screen. You go to that website, you use your credit card, and for $60, you get 30 minutes. For $60, you get 30 minutes. And so that is another way that you go. But you need to get an attorney because you don't want to lose your termination of parental rights. And if you lose it, you have to appeal it. Otherwise, they'll be gone forever. They'll be gone forever. All right, you say you will. I'm so glad you're thinking about that. Now, when you call in on your attorney, on those attorneys I said you look up, you ask them 2 questions. First question, are you a professional licensed juvenile law, family law, dependency attorney who's fought CPS and gotten kids back? If the answer is yes, you ask the second question. Have you ever, after you close the case, sued CPS and won money either in state court or federal court? If the answer is yes, you got your attorney. All that's left is the interview them and ask for 3 references and call up the 3 references. Then you have notes on all these attorneys, including Mr. Davis. And then what you need to do is that you need to find out if the retainer is something you can afford. Maybe you can quick sell your home or take a mortgage out on your home, take a second, or you can take out a credit line, or maybe there's a loan you can come up with. But you need to find out. So once you talk to the 3 attorneys, one being my attorney, Vincent Davis, you will have somebody in the driver's seat. You'll have somebody in the driver's seat. Now, Kima says, if you didn't get a chance to voice your opinion, Royal Money, then you can have that appealed to make sure you have adequate counsel. So if you did not get to voice your opinion, you can ask that you want adequate counsel and you want a continuance. It's called a continuance. You don't want to make the decision. And she didn't do that. She didn't get a chance to voice her opinion. So you need to address the judge. Don't wait to the time of it. Don't wait to the time of it. Now, ND, we don't. Now, what does it mean, ND? ND. Akima says, I need to retain attorney Vincent Davis. He is the best. Right. He is the best. You can retain Vincent Davis. He will go to Nevada, Las Vegas. He can practice laws there. And by the way, you can also talk to him directly at 888-888-6582. Now, what I'm going to do is take down this note here so you can read it. It's 888-888-6582. Welcome home, John. Is that you too, Ariel?
No, it's Robert.
Oh, welcome, Robert. I'm doing my podcast, so I'll have dinner. John, you need to tell me what you want for dinner. You don't carry anything. Okay. I still have my family living with me here. Akima says, well, royal money, we have parents make sacrifices. So it made me sound harsh, but sacrifices, nothing else to be said. What she's talking about is that I quick sold my home, my beautiful home I worked for 45 years to get money enough to pay Vincent Davis. So now that my home is gone, I know that's a hard loss to do it. Now, Royal Money says, okay, I'm screening the recording. Good. Now, Royal Money says, my name is Ariel. All right, Royal Money, glad to meet you, Ariel, and welcome. Welcome to the family. You have people in here like Akima and Betty that'll help us. Betty just called tonight to share some good news. She was able to get her niece. She has guardianship. She got her by going down to Nebraska and then doing an interstate compact placement with the children, ICPC. And she was successful to do it. She's squeaky clean. She's a foster mom, and she wanted her niece to take care of her niece. And she's a very caring person. So we're all here to help you, Ariel. So okay, I know you don't have anything to sell, but you need to get an attorney. You need to get a court-appointed attorney. Now, Kima says, reach out to your assembly board for your state or your county. They should be able to provide some type of support and advocacy. You need that. This is very important. Akima further says, okay, work on that first thing in the morning. You need to get help right away the first thing in the morning. You need an attorney to fight this ending of your termination of your rights. You waited too long. If your child has been with your mother for 2 years, you should have done this 2 years ago, because they're going to be doing that. Now, Betty, okay, I lost you, Betty. We were talking on the phone. I don't know if your phone died. I tried to call you back, but it wasn't take messages. Betty said, hey, Bob, it's kind of disturbing when you have streaming going to help people and you have family members that are coming in and out of your podcast. It's kind of off hard to focus on you. Well, I'm sorry, Betty. I'm trying to talk to people in the room. I was talking to you and give you as much as I can, but I wanted other people to have a chance to talk to, Betty. I do apologize if I didn't handle your call correctly. Akima said, good luck, Ariel. Everything will work out. Be positive. Thank you, Akima. Ariel is money, royal money. And she has a TPR coming up, and she needs an attorney. And she hasn't got one in 2 years. Now, Akima says, I piggyback on what Betty just said. It's it is a little disturbing and distracting and unfair. So, Akima and Betty, are there any suggestions you'd like me to do? Another technique, another way of handling all the people in my room and the ones that call in on the phone. Royal Money says, or Ariel says, I tried to do their case plan, and I know I had a total of 6 case workers on and didn't meet 2 of them before another. I took my case. I took my case to like from being um, tossed around. Well, your mistake was not having an attorney for 2 years. There's where it's really important to have an attorney. And Kima says, maybe your location needs to change or your venue needs to change. One suggestion. Well, can you help me out? Oh, you mean not to broadcast from home? Yeah. Well, before I used to broadcast from Starbucks. And with all the truck traffic and the dropping of the internet and all the other people traffic, it became too distracting. And usually my family is very kind and considerate and don't try to say too much. And again, I think tonight was the exception to the rule because most nights my family's quiet. I agree. And I agree. I agree very much. That's one of the problems I have with my family, Betty. And you're right. You're right, Betty. I will work on that. Ariel, okay. Thank you. And I'll look into a attorney for this case as soon as possible. You got to. You know, what I say, Ariel, it's like you're trying to do open heart surgery yourself. You're trying to cut open your cavity, take your heart out, and work on it. And it's really, 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 really hard. And so you need an attorney that knows how to navigate and fight CPS. Fighting CPS is like open heart surgery. You need an attorney. There's no question about that. So I'm glad you're going to do that. Akima, if possible, Ariel, you need to see if you have a commissioner for children's services and make sure that you have an advocate for that agency or that department to assist you with the negligence or file a report of negligence and inadequate correspondence due to the safety plans, Ariel. You need to address that. Akima has brought in a good point there. Now, besides texting messages and you can also be a guest on my podcast. All I ask you is to email my show producer, grace@vincentwdavis.com. I'm on twice a day, 7 days a week. That's 14 podcasts. I come on at 10 o'clock in the morning, and I come on at 7 o'clock at night. It's all for 1 hour. That's on the west coast of California. And I'd love to have you as a guest now. Further, besides being a guest, you can also call me in directly at 626-698-6990. Betty did that earlier when I first started the show. Betty called in and we talked about her case of getting her niece back. Her niece back. So my number's up. You can't call before my show time or after my show time, but you call during my podcast, only during my podcast. And when you want to be a guest, you just email one of those days, Saturday morning, Sunday night, Friday morning, Wednesday, whatever. You give her the time, date, and my show producer, Grace, will get you on there. So there are two ways that you can talk to Vincent Davis for free. One is being a guest on my podcast. The other one is calling in. He'll talk to you for 15 minutes on a Zoom conference call privately. All you have to do is tell me you want to do that, and I'll set it up with you. I'll set it up with you on that. So Ariel says, what are the steps to removing a child from the parent's custody? Well, I'll tell you about in a second here. I think Akima says that she's got to sign off. All right, Akima, thank you so much. She's signing off. But remember, guys, step in and watch my show. Her show's on Monday. So don't forget to watch her shows. Monday night, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. That's Eastern Time. Another thing, too, is that the steps are there be a call-in. When a call-in is made, it's made by a layperson or professional. CPS thinks it's real. So the right way they say you're guilty until they prove you're innocent. It's only in court of law that you're proven guilty until you're innocent. So they're going to try to come out and investigate you. They're going to try to come to your home or send you a letter or make a phone call. Whatever you do, do not answer your door. You got to refrain from answering your door. Do not let them in. Do not let the police in. Do not give them permission. Do not let family members give them permission. Don't give up your child. They're going to try to do that. There are bad CPS systems, and not all of CPS is bad, but the ones that, like in my case, were bad, and the other people in this room have been bad. There's about 900 that testify they're bad. So you got to be really, really, really careful. Then they're going to have a settlement conference deciding if they removed your child, they want to know where the child could be. And you give them a list of family members. Also, they'll lay out a plan and you try to resolve it. If you can't, they're going to go to court and you have your first hearing. And they're going to make recommendations in court, whether they'll have a trial or not. So it's really important. Each state's different, though. You need to research that on the internet, Ariel. You need to research that on the internet. Akima's show is called Maniac Mondays with Miss K. All right. I will watch you, or I got it covered, Akima. Okay. Ariel says, I tried to call and I didn't do that as soon as possible. When you said you tried to call, was that at the beginning of your case? Okay. Ariel says, to talk to attorney Vincent Davis. Well, you can be a guest on my show and I can set you up that you'll guarantee you'll talk to him. Or you can call in right now at 626-698-6990 and be on the show. That is good too. But you can call him, as Betty says, the number to call Vincent Davis directly to retain him, to talk to him, is 888-888-6582. That's the law offices. You see the reception. Tell them that Bob Pace sent you. Tell them you want to retain Vincent Davis or talk to Mr. Davis. Now, if you do it that way, it will cost you some money, $200 to $600 to talk to Mr. Davis. But I have ways you can talk to him for free. Call in or be a guest on my show. It's free for 15 minutes. If you got $60, you can talk for 30 minutes by going to that website that's running across the bottom of my ticket there. So those are two ways you can talk to them for free. And I know that Akima's talked to Vincent Davis, and I know that Betty's talked to Vincent Davis. And Errol says, thank you, Akima. Good. All right. Okima says, okay, name of that was done. I left my daughter stay a night at my mom's and was told the very next morning that I couldn't come to pick up my daughter from my mom and my dad, and that CPS took them. You tried to call me. My phone is on. I don't know why. You got the right number. You got to call 626 698 6990. I use Vonage, but my phone is live. I got a green button. It's all set to go. You just dial 1 626 698 6990. That's 1 626 698 6990. And my phone is live. I love to talk to you, Ariel. Now, Keeman says, no problem, Ariel. We all have to help one another. Inconvenience is worth it. Keep fighting. Signing off. See you guys tomorrow. Good night, Akima. Thank you for dropping in. Quick sidebar, Bob and Betty might be co-hosts with me on Monday night show. Not too sure yet, but we'll see. Fingers crossed. All right, good. Ariel, okay. None of that was done. I left my daughter stay a night at my mom's and was told the very next morning that I couldn't come and pick up my daughter from my mom and dad, and that CPS had took them. Well, I know you told me that. I tried to call you. My phone's live, Ariel. Cruel says, Felicia, Akima, would you mind sending me an email sometime? That's what Felicia says to Akima. And Ariel says, I'd like to set up a call with him. You can. You can. Just call into my show and it will set up. I can set that up with you. Now, Akima says, if possible, Bob, can you give Cruel and Royal my information, such as email or contact numbers, so they can call, reach out? If possible, that would be great. Now, for Ariel, well, what would have to happen is that Royal or Ariel would have to call in, and I'd have to have Felicia. If Felicia and Cruel could text me your name and your number, then I can go ahead and send you information about Akima. Okay? All right. Good night, Kima. Yeah. If you don't want to call me Cruel or Ariel, then just text me 626 698 6990. Give me your name and your email and phone number, and I'll pass on the information to Akima. Okay? Well, she did see your message, but Cruel, if you text it to me at 626 698 6990, I'll pass it on to Akima. Okay, Ariel. Yes, I've tried to call you, but it keeps saying your line is busy or not in season. Well, I don't understand. I just talked to Betty tonight. Make sure that Betty signed off. I think she did, but well, I don't understand Uh, hmm. My phone is live. I have no idea why it's not working. I've dialed on it, but it is live. So try it again. Try it again. It should be working. We have about 15 minutes left of the podcast. It ends at 8 o'clock. Ends at 8 o'clock, Ariel. Try it again, Ariel. Now, Felicia and Ariel, please text me your phone number so I can forward it on to Akima, okay? So I can forward on to Akima. Mine is a mobile number. It's a landline. It's fine. Make sure you dial 1-626-698-6990. It's done on Vonage. It's done through the internet. It's a phone application. It's my office number. It should work. Other people have called me on it. I don't understand, Ariel. It should work. Um, the phone works. It's 626-698-6990. Now, with the remainder amount of the time, I'll talk about my 5 rules you can go by. 1, you need to get an attorney. Attorney is going to save your life. It's going to get your kids back. You need to make those 2 phone calls I've talked about earlier in the show, and you need to interview and select the attorney that works best for you. The 626 should work. You have to dial 1 and then 626-698-6990. That's 1-626-698-6990. Um, Royal, Ariel, if you text me your phone number, I'll call you. If you text me your phone number, I'll call you. So you text me. So let me go ahead and see if I can find you. Okay. The only call I've had is 406. And that was from Akima. Hold on, let me check one thing here. My Wi-Fi is on, so it's all set there. I'm doing Wi-Fi calling, so that should work there. Okay, I have not seen your call come in at all, Ariel. The last call I had tonight was Betty Joe. Betty Joe. I haven't seen your text messages either. Ariel or Felicia, Cruel, or Royal Money, you need to text me at the number 626 698 6990 so I can help you. Okay, you don't have to have Vonage to talk to me. It takes regular phone calls. All you have to do is type in the area code 626, then 6990, and you can get in on it. Now, rule number 2 is the documents. It's so important you document everything. You need to create a notebook, 3 inches thick, 3-ring binder, put subject dividers and notebook paper in there. Then create an important document called the time log incident. You want to track all your incidents, either with the police or CPS, the school, other people. You use 3 lines per incident. The first line is the date, the time, the location of people you talk to. The second line is a summary what the incident's about. And the third line is the outcome. If you don't know the outcome, leave a space, come back later and figure it out. Then in 6 months, you'll be able to go back to it and look at it. It's documenting your case. Rule number 3 is you do not open the door to anybody. You keep it closed. You never know who's on the other side of that door. Also, you don't talk to CPS workers or let them in your home, or you don't let police in there. They have to have either a warrant or there's a dangerous situation. If fighting's taking place, domestic violence taking place, they will break into the home. But if the home is quiet and you don't answer the door, you don't have to worry about talking to them right yet. But that is a warning sign that you need to get an attorney. If you meet them outside in your yard or you're walking around, tell them you cannot talk to them unless you have your attorney present. By law, your constitutional right is that if you have a legal matter, you have a right to legal representation. So you just tell them that we'll get back to you the date and time to meet and where. Don't meet with them in the home. Don't meet with them at their office. Meet at a neutral place like Starbucks or McDonald's and document everything. Document everything. Record everything. Because they will lie. They will cheat. They are no good bums, the rogue entities of CPS. They're only interested in the money part of CPS, and they abuse it. Okay, I don't know what you installed, but all you do, if you have a land phone or a mobile phone, you dial 1, then area code 626-698-6990, and you'll direct line to me. Also, if you text me at that number, and I see your text, I can call you if you put your number in there. Also, I can pass it on to Akima. But if you don't get it to me, Cruel, I've not seen you do anything. Are you sending in to me, Cruel? So whatever you do, don't talk to social workers. They'll use it against you. Watch out for medical trafficking. It can be really, really bad. Medical trafficking can really be bad. And so that's where you take your child into urgent care or the emergency room of the hospital, and there's a caseworker from CPS that takes your child. They're always looking for parents, and you got to be careful. Do not give up your child. Also, if you're pregnant to have a baby, do not give up your child. They have to have a warrant. Even if the police is present, don't be intimidated by the police. There are intimidation factors that CPS is using. They're up to no good. They're up to no good. Now, I did talk about rule number 5 about the internet, researching it. That's good. Excuse me, rule number 4. Rule number 5 is to make documentations, copies, birth certificates, marriage certificates, driver's license, the report cards, the shot cards, medical records, anything that of any importance that you have to show to them. Make a copy, put it all in a folder, and have it with your notebook. You'll need that. That's my rule number 5. So those are the 5 rules I have. They'll make your life better. So my time is almost up. I got to take down my phone. I can't take any more phone calls. Not that I don't want to, but I got to end my show right at 8 o'clock. So I want to thank everybody for calling in. It was nice to meet you, Royal Money. That is Ariel from Las Vegas, Nevada, and she is losing her parental rights, and she needs to get an attorney. That's what her weakness is there. I want to thank Akima from Brooklyn, New York, who has a child case, who's also an attorney, but she's doing her own podcast on Mondays at 6 o'clock, 5 to 6, I think it is. And you got to see her show. I want to thank Felicia, who's Cruel. And I know that you want to talk to Akima, but I need your information. Text to me and I will forward it on. So also, I want to thank Betty for sharing the good news about her niece being rescued. Thank you so much, Betty. That was awful sweet of you. And I'm really so happy that your niece has finally gone through. She is a classic case. She's been with me for months, and now she finally gets her niece, and it worked out good. So that was a happy ending. Remember, do not give up fighting for your kids. And this is Bob Pace, who's going to sign you off. And I'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time.